Alrighty, folks. One of the things we are doing on this channel is we are getting the down low from people in the business. If you don't know, Adrian Hernandez is an agent and broker. So we must talk about the NAR lawsuit settlement. Adrian, thanks for being here, man. What say you?
Zuber, what's going on, everybody? Yeah, interesting things, right? A lot of fake news out there, I believe, on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, right? There's a lot of people that don't know what they're talking about or making these videos to catch the headline, which is interesting, but very poor for the consumer and the average agent that's listening to them. So yeah, what's your obviously you saw what happened. I'm curious
Yeah.
to know Zuber's take on it.
Well, I think for me, I think a couple of we just have to assume it's passed, right? Because the DOJ's got to accept it. So with that
Right.
caveat, I think the home buying process changes. I think it is there's more moving parts. There's more negotiation. I do think sellers, that was who the lawsuit was for, right? Was to for sellers. I think they will see commission paid fall 20, 25, 30%. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think buyers, will increase. I think a buyer will pay more. Now, not a lot more because I still think the seller's going to pay most of it most of the time, but there will be some buyers that have to pay.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and so I think that's um, so I think sellers win. I think agents' jobs get more complex, both buying and selling agents. I think home buyers lose,
Yeah.
specifically entry level home buyers, VA, FHA. Um, they lose.
Yep.
That was kind of my gut reaction.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I do feel bad for the consumer because that's really, just like you just said, that's who it's really affecting, right? Is the home buyer that's out there that's already struggling to find a property. It's already hard for them to find a property. Interest rates isn't making it easier for them. Low inventory isn't making it easier for them. And then you go and throw this wrench in there, which leads me to a next opinion, which I have a feeling home buyers are just going to become renters. I think that it's pushing
So
more for
so
for a
play that
rental.
out. Play that out for me. So basically the buyers, it's more complex and they need more cash to close kind of thing. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, so sellers can still, based on what the rules are before being actually fully passed, right?
Mhm.
They're saying that commissions can still be negotiated as concessions. Commissions can still be negotiated on the contract, right? The seller can still pay a commission, but let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that the seller is not paying a commission.
Which will happen.
And they're not paying a commission, and it also states that they have to have a buyer broker agreement with the agent they're working with, and the rules of the service have to be laid out in that buyer broker agreement along with compensation. What if there's a 5,000, for an example, compensation on that buyer broker agreement, and there is no compensation coming from the seller? That has to come from somebody. It now comes from the buyer. The buyer's already tight on funds to afford their down payment. They say, well, you know what, Zuber, I'm just not going to do this. I'm going to go rent.
No, this is why I think entry level housing, first time home buyers are hurt. Again, we have to assume as the rules are today, you can't finance commission.
No.
You can't put that in a loan. It's a non-allowable transaction or line item or whatever the right vocabulary is. So yeah, they've got to come in that example with the full 5 grand.
Right. And that's just 5 grand. Let's talk about, Orange County, where you have agents that are asking $15,000, $20,000. There's no possible way. So then another hallucination would be maybe there are these pop-up home buyer shops that charge a flat fee to represent home buyers. I don't know.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely. So one of the things that I think will happen if you fast forward 18 months is the buyer side is going to be the most bifurcated market ever. And what do I mean by that? We are going to have some low cost, low provider, no frills, fixed cost buyer agencies, whatever you want to call that.
Right.
And then there's going to be the Uber luxury catered service, you know, you know, full 3%, buyer agents out there, right? So, and there's not going to be anything in between, I don't think.
No, I agree. And I get it. I get excited because the side hustle agents, the agents that have gotten into the industry because it's sexy and trendy, they're going to go away. I
Oh, they're
personally
gone.
believe that this
Yeah.
industry's persona is going to change drastically, and it's no longer going to be well, I can get in it, make a bunch of money quick. Like that's no longer going to be the case. Real estate will not be a trendy career. I believe if this does fully go through and they act and these laws are set in place and everything is accepted, I think majority of the agents will get out of the business, which I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah. I think, again, I don't think it's unreasonable to think that at least 30% of agents
Mm,
disappear.
Easy. Most definitely. You know, the sad thing is majority of them are going to go try wholesaling, get punched in the face, and then completely get out of the industry.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're going to go back and be baristas or OnlyFans or whatever it's going to be.
OnlyFans.
I don't know. Going to be something. But yeah, but I think the real estate industry will be, on average more professional, right? The
Yeah.
the professional agents, the ones that are out there will thrive. It'll
Yep.
be a career like a financial analyst or
Yeah.
something else. And the ones that thrive and adapt, excuse me, to the new rules of the road, it could be you'll actually could end up making more money, right? You take away 30%, you learn how to negotiate, you know,
I
you
agree.
could actually do quite well. But yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of pretenders that just go away.
You're already seeing it. You know, we're already seeing agents that are there's fear in the marketplace because of this. There's fear all over Instagram, fear all over the reels, and you're already seeing agents that are in the comments saying, you know, they're petrified. They're already not making money right now. This is just going to make it even more tougher for them. So, you know, Jody Raffaelli put something out. He goes, "I'm really excited about the change," right? And I couldn't agree with him more. I'm beyond excited because we need a little washout, right? There needs to be some cleansing
Mhm.
of this industry.
Yeah, so I think when you fast forward, 18 to 24 months, the average real estate agent's more professional, right? There's less of them. It goes up, which I think is a net positive. I think there are a lot of kind of, Instagram real estate agents.
Most definitely.
They're not going to be there anymore. So, um, what do you? So, I want to go back to this renter idea because I think you're right. The person that's hurt the most, as I see it today, is the first time home buyer. Because, even if they go to this low cost area, provider, they're buying a home for most people, it's the largest thing they ever do. And they do it, two or three times in their lifetime.
Right.
That first one is frightening.
Frightening. And majority of the first time homebuyers already have major trouble getting into properties as it is. You know, you do have the small majority, you know, first time homebuyers that they have that great job. You know, I don't want to say money's not an option, but they have the money to do it, right? And we see those first time homebuyers, right? You know, we see them in our market, but that's a small fraction. That's a small percentage of the overall a consumer first time home buyer that is having a major trouble buying a home right now. You know, Gen Z is going to, I believe Gen Z is going to be a renter generation. I firmly believe it. I think millennials will be the last set that actually are buying properties, and these Gen Zs are going to be they're going to be long-term renters, or they're going to live at home with mom and dad for a long time.
Yeah, it certainly could go that direction. Um, which is not good in my opinion. I
No,
think owning a home is the path to wealth for most people. It's a forced savings account. And it frankly the only way that my mom, who's obviously a baby boomer, could afford her retirement years was buying a home in the 70s and selling it in whatever it was
right?
2000 whatever what year. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. So anything else you wanted? Oh, you know what? I shared this with Beth and Omar. I wanted to run this by you. And I was thinking about buyer agents.
Hmm.
And, I was like, buyer agents, like that's going to change. And I was trying to play with how does a buyer agent stay a buyer's agent and make more money? This was the idea I had. Let me know what you think. So today, a lot of real estate agents, these pretenders, if you will, they're just home buyers, right? They do open houses and all of that. But if you want to be a professional buyer's agent under the new rules, I would strongly suggest you go figure out who the real estate investors are in your market and create a Rolodex and interview them and figure out what their buy boxes are. And then you set up some kind of retainer or deal structure that if you find a deal that fits their buy box at some rate of return, that they'll pay you for those deals all the time. And funny, on the daily financial news today, I was testing this idea. I said on the live that I will pay any Las Vegas real estate agent who brings me a seller finance deal that closes an extra 1% kicker.
Mm.
Right. So I think if I was a buyer's agent, I would focus in on finding 50 real estate investors in my market, interview them, find their buy box, set up a retainer fee, then go hunting. That's what I would do.
I couldn't agree more. It's actually a post that I was going to put out, very similar to that. I was going to put out a post as, hey, buyer's agents, you guys want to, afraid of not making money, right? Call me. Call me. Let's talk about a deal, how you can help find us transactions, and we'll pay
Yeah.
you, I'll pay you 3%. You bring me a great deal all day long. You'll get your 3%, right?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny you said that because that's what I said. I said I'll sign a contract, 3%, a buy box in a deal that I close.
yeah,
And then I was like, you know what I could do is like you bring me a deal that I close, great, 3%. You bring me a deal I closed with seller financing, 3+1. And oh, by the way, if the seller's also paying a commission, shit, you can make 7%. What do I care? Go
exactly.
ahead, take it all.
Couldn't agree more. It's going to take the buyer's agent to get super creative, right? It's going to take the buyer's agent to think outside the box, but I absolutely love that idea. It's funny because I literally was going to put out a post a couple of days ago saying, buyer's agents, I can still help you get paid, right? I'm still paying 3%. I'm still
Absolutely.
paying it. Come to me. Let's help you get paid. And
Yeah.
so the agents that have been watching your channel, that have been, out there and exploring the different ways to buy real estate, you guys, you are going to be drastically favored, right? Everybody else that's been stuck in the traditional model, it's going to be very tough for. But those that know what a seller finance is, know what a sub-2 transaction is, you're going to make a lot of money. And so double
Oh,
down
yeah.
and
Double down.
find investors like Michael, find investors like myself that are in your area. In fact, matter of fact, just deal with us, right?
Yeah, yeah. We'll make sure you get paid. We'll we'll,
We'll
we'll
make sure
make
you
sure you
get
get
paid.
paid. Yeah.
I
No,
love the idea.
I think again, this is back to kind of where you were going, right? All the pretenders leave the professional ones. Because I mean, if you play this out, right? Let's have this game. This all just snaps into place like Legos if you want to do it,
Right.
right? You find a buy, but Mike Zuber wants to buy a cash flow rental in Vegas. You call him up, he gives you the zip code, gives you the unit counts. You go to the MLS, you find 75 listings. Okay, great. Well, Zuber told me his cash on cash return is 9%. Looks like none of these will work. But if I'm good at it and I follow what Zuber does, I can back into the offer that he could put out there. It's 8% less than list or 12 or whatever it is.
Right.
And oh, by the way, I could probably get PropStream and look up which sellers don't owe any debt or have a lot of room or days on market. There's all these things I can learn if I'm a diligent agent. And then, oh, by the way, I remember what Zuber says about that 1% kicker. So let me call all the agents, the listing agents that have a property that appears to have no debt. So you got to skill up. You got to talk about seller financing, tax savings, income, installment notes, all of these things. And then, oh, by the way, if you really want to get bonkers, you could go door knock, right? And by the way, I have a buyer, blah, 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 this, that, the other. It's just, if
Right.
you wanted to be a professional buyer's agent, there's a way you can make a crap load of money. You're just going to have to work. It's going to be harder. But in reality, if you had 10 investors in your market, you're going to do more transactions because we buy based on yield.
Right.
So it's crazy.
Yeah, they're just gonna act like you said. They're gonna have to work harder, get creative, and most importantly, develop those relationships, right? The different type of relationships, and I think it's also going to, also go after the listings that the agents aren't offering any commissions on. right? Because
Yeah.
it's for the first couple of months, and we'll see how this plays out, right? But I believe that a lot of agents aren't going to show those no commission properties. I believe that most of the buyers are going to have to go directly to the listing agent,
Yeah, then you get that whole dual agency, all this. It's a
which
quagmire.
which is a whole nother thing that they're talking about, right? And
Oh,
and then if that buyer signed a buyer broker agreement, they can't.
yeah. Oh, lawsuits waiting to happen.
It's going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting. Well, let's switch gears a little bit. We haven't been able to get together for a couple of weeks. You were at a couple of events. I think it was a Berkshire event and then
Yeah.
Collective Genius. I just love how you continually invest, expand, network. So let's talk about those two events. Which one do you want to talk about
Yeah.
first?
We'll work it backwards. So
Okay.
last week was at Berkshire Hathaway's Hero event in New Orleans. First time in New Orleans.
Oh, very nice.
Interesting crowd. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I've been there. Interesting place.
Yeah.
You should
Interesting
have one
place.
of those beignets, or I think they're called beignets.
Beignets. We had the jambalaya. We had the po' boys. I
Oh
have to
yeah.
say the food was amazing. I think I gained 20 pounds out there, right?
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
But it was an awesome event, and Berkshire Hathaway. What I love about Berkshire, is that they're definitely above the curve when it comes to technology and being creative. One thing they really talked about was using open AI,
Hmm.
for listing presentations, using open AI even for social media, right? Like a lot of you have a hard time coming up with topics, right? Go into OpenAI and type in the top topics that sellers are looking to, that the top questions that sellers have in the marketplace. And they're going to give you all of this, they're going to give you step by step every single question that a seller, that a buyer has in the marketplace.
Mhm.
It was really good to see, even in this tough time, because home services is a part of that lawsuit, right? It was still good to see the community, the amount of agents that were there, and the support that Brookshire is pouring into their agents. It was a great event. Gino Blafari, CEO of HSF Services, which houses Brookshire Hathaway, good friend of mine. He went up and he got to talk about him as an agent and the thing he did to separate himself from the competition. And very similar to what you talked about is the fact that we're going to have to work harder, right? And pivot and be creative, just the same way he was as a brand new agent in Silicon Valley, where you're from, right?
Mhm.
And he was known as the 6% agent, broke records in those areas for years, right? Records that
Mhm.
still stand. But why? Because he was able to do everything that the competition wasn't doing, right? While they were showing up at 9, he was showing up at 7, right? He was putting in the extra work, right? Do the work, right? Or at rule number 1, do the work to the extreme, right? Getting creative, finding different ways to help his seller, finding different ways to help his buyer. And that's what made him the number 1 agent in that area for a very, very long time. And then he duplicated it over and over with every brokerage that he had. No wonder why, Brookshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett picked him up to run HSF services.
That's pretty
But
amazing.
but it falls into that work, right? It falls into that work. So that was a lot. That was a
No, I
lot.
love it. I love it. And again, um, I really do think, I mean, during the pandemic, right, we got a little too comfortable with Zoom and, doing all these things. There's nothing like in-person events,
Nothing.
both for the presentation, also the networking and just getting the vibe of the room and that energy. So that was great. What about Collective Genius?
And Collective Genius, if you guys don't know what Collective Genius is, it's Collective Genius is a mastermind for all of the top investors in the nation. You have to qualify to be a part of their mastermind. They don't let anybody and everybody in, which is I absolutely love. And the great thing that I love, and you need to be a part of Collective Genius, by the way, just because of who you are as a human being, right? Because there's no ego in that room. Right. You got the top investors, guys. I mean, you have people 300, 400, 500 units owned, right?
Mhm.
And they actually own them. They're not just saying that, right?
Yeah.
They check
I
HUDs,
own
they check,
1%. Yeah.
yeah, they check all your HUDs, and they make sure that you actually own these properties. But my biggest takeaway from Collective Genius was becoming a better operator.
Hmm.
Really not just being a landlord, not just being a wholesaler or flipper, but really getting deep on your operations, right? If you are a landlord, what does your operations look like? Because it's still a business, right? What
Mhm.
does the operations look like? And then most importantly, how do we improve those operations? How do you, as the business owner, get better at being a better operator? Which
Mm.
which which was exactly what I needed to hear, right? Because
Yeah.
I think I'm a good operator, and then they go through their presentations and I realize I can be a way better operator, right?
Yeah, there are levels to this. Yeah.
There are
It's
definitely levels.
it's really funny. I am starting to get around this idea that the next 2 years are going to be hard. And I think they're going to be harder for everyone, you and I included.
Hmm.
Everybody's hard will be different. I actually think the last 2 or 3 years were kind of just fake. And for a
Yep.
lot of us, it was easy,
Yep.
which is really wild to think the last 3 years was easy. And I think stuff regresses to the mean. And I think the next couple of years are going to be hard. I don't know what hard means, to you, the listener, but I think things are going to get hard. And as somebody who's an entrepreneur and an operator, yeah, you're gonna have to get tighter, right? You're gonna have to focus. And the other thing that I think happened over the last 3 years is we had a bunch of financial engineers.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to be a financial engineer when rates are zero.
Yep.
You want to be a financial engineer when rates go from 0 to 8. Yeah, it's a lot of people are suffering, a lot of pain to come. But the good operators, right? The true operators, they're gonna win. And on the other side of pain is opportunity, right? So I do see a
Yeah.
couple of years of pain, but if you get through it, there's going to be the wealth that could be built on the other side of this, specifically through commercial and multifamily that's coming. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. And what, speaking of operators, one thing I heard, I believe it was Dion at your event who talked about how he was paying all these people, for his ACs. His
Mhm.
AC kept going
Yep.
out. He kept having HVAC problems. And I
Yep.
believe he went, and because he's such a good operator, he was able to see how much money they were spending in HVAC problems. And I believe he spun off and got an HVAC company of his own, or is creating a sector of it to
Yep.
help offset his cost that he's
Mm.
spending on HVAC, which is increasing his cash flow, lowering his liability, lowering. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to being a good operator, right? You're able to see all of the tiny little money leaks and
Yep.
being able to figure out solutions that your average landlord, your average
Yeah.
wholesaler, flipper is not able to see, and being so in depth with your business that you're able to catch those things. You know what got really trendy was I can go buy 15 rentals and I can sit back and I don't have to do anything. No, that's when you get kicked in the teeth, right? It's when you're
Yeah.
not paying attention to that $500 AC problem that you just had that would have cost $50 had you just paid attention to it.
No, no, absolutely. This is why I think it's going to get hard. And it's really weird, right? A lot of people think the last 3 years are hard. They really weren't, right?
No,
They were different. They were
right.
uncomfortable, weren't hard. I think this business cycle, whether it's a recession or a rolling recession or a soft landing, I think money's not free anymore. I think
Nope.
risk is up. And I think there's a lot of deals that were done that shouldn't have been. And that stuff needs to be washed out. Losses will be incurred. We're going to see some job losses. We're going to see some business go bankrupt. And there will be plenty of opportunity, but when you're going through hard, it's sometimes difficult to see the light that's coming.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm all about being an operator and focus today.
Yeah. And that's why CG was just so big for me. When they got finished, I walked up to Jason and I go, "Thank you," because the industry needs that. The industry
Mhm.
needs to understand that we all need to become better operators. You never unplug from your business. The day you do is the day your business dies, right? And we all need to understand that.
Yeah, I think there's this social media, I don't know, fandom that you could just be you could buy or grow a bunch of businesses and then just check out and the mailbox money just keeps coming. That's not how it works.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
You're gonna get punched in the face real fast.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I guess let's talk about Orange County. What's going on Orange County real estate? Is it still wild? No inventory, bidding wars? What's going on?
I actually just did. And thank you. And I want to thank you. And I believe you inspired Joe D, but you and Joe D inspired me. I did a whole series, and I'm going to continue to do this series on the housing report for Southern
Oh,
California.
I like it.
So, yeah, thank you, because I thank you because it's outside of what I typically do, right? And it was super cool. We knocked out 10 videos yesterday on the housing reports on Orange County, Los Angeles County. We broke them down into sectors, and it was
Nice.
just, I felt like Zuber yesterday. I felt like Zuber. It was freaking awesome. It was really
Awesome. Where can people find these?
on YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube. He's going to chop it all up, and it
Oh,
should
yeah,
be
yeah.
up by this week.
Yeah. So
All right.
just Adrian Hernandez, or what's the channel name?
Yeah. So I wanted to, let's talk. I'll call you if I can sometime today or
Sure.
tomorrow to pick your brain.
Channel names? Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
on some channel names, because right now it's just my name.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So right now, let's just look at Orange County as a whole. As of yesterday, we had 2,084 active properties in Orange County.
Okay.
2,084. The demand, so in the last 30 days, what went pending was 1,538 properties went pending in Orange County, with 2,084 currently active.
Wow. Okay. So that's like 5 weeks of supply.
But yeah, if that, right?
Right.
We have 41 days of market time.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
And what I'll do is I'll break down these price points so you guys
Sure.
can see how that played out, right?
That's exactly people like Orange County. No, I want to know Orange County entry level, Orange County luxury, because I'm gonna guess they're different.
I got you. So market time in days, right? We talked about 41 days. Market time 2 weeks ago in days was 40 days compared to 41 days today. Not that big of a change. 4 weeks ago, 42 days. We're not seeing much change.
Okay.
We're not seeing much change. A year ago, same thing, 42 days.
Interesting. All right. Well,
very interesting. 2 years ago, 20 days, of course, right?
Yeah.
Of course. And then median active list price right now is 1.5 million. That's our median.
Wow.
It's insane. Insane.
Crazy.
All right. So let's jump into 0 to 500,000. So from 0 to 500,000, this would be entry level. You have 169 properties for sale. 135 of them went pending. Well, so right now, 169 active. 30 days pending, we had 135.
Wow. Okay.
Crazy. Average market time, 38 days.
So again, you had 284 or 2,084 homes. You only have, call it 200. So 10% of the market is below 500 grand.
Yep.
Okay. And what was days on market? Sorry.
38.
All right. So a little faster. Okay, cool.
500,000 to 750, 238 properties for sale.
All right. So another 10%. Okay.
261 demand.
Wow.
There's not even, there's more demand than there is homes for sale between 500 and 750.
Yep.
21 days average market time.
It's just blistering. Just crazy.
Crazy. 750 to a million. 282 actives.
All right.
312 demand.
Wow.
Wow.
Blistering.
27 days on market.
That's crazy.
Average.
Okay. Yeah.
1 million to 1.25. We got 205 actives.
Okay.
214 demand.
Still more demand than actives. Wow.
Way more demand than that. Just getting beat up, right?
Yeah.
29 days average market time.
Okay.
1.25 to 1.5.
All right.
198.
Okay.
179 demand.
Okay. Yeah.
So we start teetering off a little bit.
You start to peel back. And that, again, that's what I keep talking about. Below the median is just much faster than above.
Insane. You're gonna laugh at some of these numbers as we move forward.
Okay.
35 days market average time for that. Where were we at? 2 million to 4 million. 393 actives, 178 demand.
Yes, luxury is slowing down. Yes.
Oh, just wait. It gets worse.
Oh,
66 days average market time. Okay. And then here for the big boys, 4 million to 6 million, 150 active, 38 demand.
Oh, we're talking months now.
Months. Average market time, 118 days. 118 days. That's insane. You just sell your property in August. 6 million plus big dogs. 16 actives, which is insane.
Can you imagine? There are more properties above 6 million than below 500 grand.
which is insane.
How stupid is that?
Insane. Demand, you want to take a guess?
43.
19.
19. Oh, are we going up to a year? Are we having a year of inventory? I mean, my goodness.
That's at least with a average market time of selling your home in 341 days.
It is almost a year. It's almost a
That
year.
is almost a year. So any of you think that you're going to take a $6 million listing and get paid next month? Good freaking luck. You're going to get paid next year sometime if the 19 buyers out there decide to look at your house.
So let's just play this out. Because again, I've been telling people for a long time, if you happen to be fortunate enough where you are shopping for a luxury property, I would take all those listings that are over 200 days and I would write a stupid, disrespectful offer.
Yep.
Because you never know. There might be some rich family who hasn't lived in the home in a decade and they just want to be out of California and they'll take half off just to have it done.
Right.
You just never know. Now, most of them are going to tell you to F off, but who cares? You only need one. That's what I've been doing.
Yep. I agree. I actually said that to a buyer in the 2 to 4 million range. I go, just start writing offers.
Yeah.
Start writing offers. I go, I'm going to use Michael Zuber's word, write a disrespectful offer. They started laughing. I'm like, you'll be surprised what happens.
Yeah. Again, you only need, again, there was every listing over 180 days. If I happen to be, dude, if I was shopping for let's just say I was lucky enough in Orange County where I could afford a $3 million home. That's what I wanted to buy. I would be looking at every home priced at 6 million and writing a $3 million offer.
Yep.
Because I only need one to say yes.
Yep.
And there might be some family, some situation where they'll take the $3 million. Because the other thing you need to know about $6 million homes, most of them don't have debt. So if you find somebody who just needs $3 million cash, and this is the only thing less that they have to sell,
they take it.
3 million is more than, is better than zero.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. You guys, I do want to say these numbers are brought to you by Stephen Thomas, Reports on Housing. Shout out to Stephen Thomas, local real estate economics. He's incredible. So thank you, Stephen, for this report. He's the one that sits here, crunches the numbers every single week. So I appreciate you.
There you go. Well, where can people find you? We're gonna get you a YouTube channel name here in a minute, but where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys find me on Instagram, Adrian Hernandez. YouTube right now, just type in Adrian Hernandez Real Estate until the Zuber helps me out with a good name.
There you go. Thank you, buddy. Take care.
All right, thank you.